Last month, I had the honor of speaking at the First Impressions Conference, and during my session, I actually gave everyone a free copy of this book, the Plan Your Visit Playbook. This is my book that I wrote that goes hand in hand with the session that you're about to watch on how to use social media to get new guests to your church. Now, if you want, I would love to extend this offer to you as well. You can go to planyourvisitplaybook.com to get a free copy of this book. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the video. First Impression Conference, what is going on, guys? My name is Brady, and today I'm excited to be bringing this session to you titled The New Plan Your Visit Playbook. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into things. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. Who is this Brady guy? Well, I actually went to Christ for the Nations Institute, CFNI in Dallas, Texas, and Dallas Baptist University. So that's kind of my background, and I was a student pastor at the church I'm standing in right now, Vibrant Church in the Woodlands, Texas, from the time we launched as a church plant all the way up until a couple of years ago. And I ended up stepping out of student ministry because we started an organization called Church Candy. And Church Candy is like a digital marketing agency for churches where we help churches get new guests. We help churches get butts in seats. And let me tell you a little bit about that. That was founded right around 2022. And it has just been an amazing ministry that we've been able to be a part of, helping churches all over the country. I'm a father to a 2-year-old, and I am definitely a certified coffee snob. My team makes fun of me. In fact, Lexi, our very first hire, love her to death. On my birthday, she got me a Starbucks gift card. And as a sermon illustration, just a couple of months later, I made a joke about how I love coffee, but people think that means I love Starbucks, but I actually am not a big fan of it. And she texted me afterwards, and she was like, "Oh no, Brady, I'm so sorry. Were you talking?" And it was just a super funny situation. But that being said, I'm also the author of this book, The Plan Your Visit Playbook. This is a step-by-step strategy on how you can use the Plan Your Visit strategy to get new guests to your church. We're going to be covering a lot of these strategies here today in this session, but I would actually love to give you a copy of this book for free. That's right, 100% for free. You will pay for the book and for shipping only if you promise to actually read the book and apply these strategies in your ministry. Amen? Amen. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the new Plan Your Visit Playbook. Now, my goal today is to show you how to get new guests coming to your church every single Sunday with the new Plan Your Visit strategy. And I mentioned earlier about Vibrant Church, my church that I was student pastor at. And whenever we launched our church, it was 2019. And we all know right after 2019 came the best year ever, 2020. And in 2020, we were in Texas, and so we were very blessed to not have to shut down completely for several years, like a lot of you guys might have. Now at Vibrant, whenever we shut down after the pandemic and we were able to start meeting again in person, my pastor came to me and he said, "Brady, I know you guys do a lot of Facebook and Instagram ads at our other company." That was my day job because I was bivocational as a student pastor. And he was like, "I would love for us to really double down on Facebook and Instagram ads for our church." And so that's what we did. And so let's look at some numbers. It's been fantastic. We've seen continuous growth through then. And I want to even show you these numbers just from the past year. If we look at March of 2022, our average attendance was around 183, which is solid for a church that planted right before COVID. I think an average attendance of 183 people is a solid, healthy church. And within 1 year, within 12 months, you can see that our attendance grew all the way to 327.8. So 328 people on average on Sundays. That includes adults, that includes kids, and that's amazing, right? That's really good growth. So with that, that's about 79% growth in 12 months using this Plan Your Visit strategy that we're going over today. But more importantly, yes, the growth, the numbers are great. It's great to grow wide, but we also grew deeper. In fact, in 2022, we saw 105 salvations, 105 decisions for Jesus. Come on, isn't that awesome? We had 19 people baptized. We had 71 people complete Next, which is our growth track. And we had 272 people in a life group. Come on, that is amazing. Those are next steps that are awesome, because it's one thing to grow wide, but we also grew deeper. And here's the thing, guys. At this conference, you're going to learn a lot about first impressions, and whenever someone walks into your church, how you want to greet them with a smile and all of that. Here's the thing. This strategy will get people there. And here's the thing with our church, we grew because we got people there, but we also were kind to them, showed them love, were welcoming to them, and that kept them there. Amen? So this strategy, I'm just going to be honest, it'll get people in your door, but it's not going to keep them there. And that's what the rest of this conference is all about. Now, let's go ahead and continue. I want to tell you a story of my good friend, Pastor Pradeepan. You might know him. He's a pastor of Amazing Church, Kalos Church up in Bellevue, Washington. So we actually started helping him with their Plan Your Visit ads and their strategy that we're going to cover today. And they had 10% growth week over week in the summer of 2022. They outgrew their current space that they were in. They went from around 170 to 467 average attendance on a Sunday in 12 months. And I don't say this to brag and say, oh my gosh, church candy is so awesome. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that this stuff works. The strategy that we're covering today works. Here's another story. Pastor Ben Sanders with Revelation Frisco in Frisco, Texas. They have people planning a visit to their church almost every single day, and new families showing up every single Sunday. And there's Pastor Austin Scott. If you're a brand new church planter, Pastor Austin Scott is a brand new church plant. In fact, a crazy story. They were trying to do a mailer for their church's grand opening, and then the printer messed up, and the printing company called them and said, hey, we can't get this mailer out. And so they continued to do ads on Instagram and Facebook and doing this strategy, getting people to plan a visit for their grand opening service. And on their very first Sunday, they had over 450 people at their launch grand opening Sunday. Come on, isn't that awesome? And there's tons and tons of stories of churches all over the country using this strategy to get new guests every single Sunday. And so I say that to say if it can work for them, it can work for you. Amen? All right, so let's jump in the Plan Your Visit strategy. Right, a lot of you guys might have heard this before. This isn't something new, but if you haven't heard of this before, this is basically where a new guest can fill out an online form before they visit your church, right? And this it does a couple of things. One, it gives them an extra personalized experience. Once they fill out a form, it gives you an opportunity to touch base with them and really, we'll use the phrase, roll out the red carpet and give them a VIP treatment whenever they do visit your church. And what I love about it is you get contact information that you get to make a connection with. It's such a really cool strategy. And now, I want to talk to you a little bit about next step culture. Notice whenever I was talking about Vibrant's story, I said, yes, we had all this growth wide. We had all of these people come, but I also talked about all the next steps, the salvations. I talked about the baptisms, and all of that is really important. I'm a big believer in your church. Yes, you should track attendance, but you should also track the next steps people take in your ministry. Because let's be honest, discipleship is just helping people take a next step in their relationship with Jesus. Amen? Now, with the Plan Your Visit strategy, that's basically like the first next step that someone would take before they visit your church. Does that make sense? So they go to your website, they see a form online to plan a visit. That's kind of that first next step that they would take, right? Because they're making a decision in their spiritual life saying, I'm going to go visit this church by filling out this form and planning a visit. Now, a lot of you guys have probably done this before, and here's a screenshot from another church, and you might have seen, it was really popular, there was a software called Church Hero, and it would let you have a pop-up on your website where someone could plan a visit, or you could have a custom landing page on your website that was a Plan Your Visit page that had tons of information about your church and had a form for people to plan a visit. And that works. That's kind of the old way, and that works. We do it at our church, but today we're talking about the new way to get people to plan a visit that is crazy. It is working really, really well. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. The new way is proactively running ads on social media that are very, very intentional. Not just boosting posts, not just sending traffic to your website blindly, but very intentionally running ads on social media to find people in your community to get them to plan a visit. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. That's what we talk about in this book. And with this, I want you to really understand, with Facebook, you can actually look this up. The average Facebook page has about an organic reach of around 5 to 6%, if you're lucky. So that means every time your church posts on Facebook, if you have 100 people that like your page, only 5 to 6 of them are going to see that post. And that's why I'm so big on, if you want to get new guests to come to your church from social media, if you want to use social media as a tool to get new guests to your church, you need to invest in ads. Because if you're just posting blindly, that's not going to lead someone to actually take a next step and show up to your church and hear the gospel, right? And two, the people that like your Facebook page, that like your Instagram page, that follow you on those platforms, they probably already go to your church, or they're already connected in some regard. So it's not necessarily giving you a reach outside of the audience that you already have. And so here's why I like ads. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, these are businesses. They are not ministries. And in order for them to make money, they sell attention, right? Anytime you see something that's free, it's not really free. You are the product, if that makes sense, if you've heard that phrase before. So they make their money by selling attention, by selling ads to businesses, or in our case, churches. So the average organic reach of a Facebook business page is around 5.2%. And again, that's mainly people that already like your church's Facebook page. And so today I want to cover 3 secrets to getting church guests with Plan Your Visit ads. And so this is going to be very, very practical. I want you to take notes, take screenshots, because we're going to be moving pretty quickly here. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So the 3 secrets to getting church guests with Plan Your Visit ads. Number 1 is the best ad type for getting tons of PYVs. If you hear me say PYVs today, that's just someone that planned a visit. Plan Your Visit, PYV. Following along? Number 2, Amazon's ad strategy that works even better for churches. And number 3, how to get people that plan a visit to actually show up on Sunday. So let's go ahead and dive in. Number 1, the best ad type for getting tons of PYVs. Now, if you've ever seen the documentary, The Social Dilemma, it's on Netflix. It's really, really cool. I want to encourage you after this conference to go check it out. But one of my biggest takeaways from this documentary, The Social Dilemma, is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They are going to do everything in their power to keep users on their platform as long as possible. And so you need to keep that in mind anytime you make content for your church's social media. Whether you're running ads or their organic posts, you want to play to their algorithms, and every single algorithm that these platforms use leads to people staying on their platform longer. I've always heard it said that these platforms are like digital casinos. If you've ever heard about a casino, you walk in, you don't really see many windows or clocks because they want people to gamble all night long, regardless of the time. Same thing with TikTok, same thing with Instagram, same thing with Facebook. Now, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, they make more money the longer people stay on their platforms. And why am I emphasizing this? Because there is a certain ad type called instant lead forms. And what I love about these Meta instant lead forms, and TikTok has them, I think Google has them for YouTube and Google Ads too, but we've gotten the best results using them on Meta, so Facebook and Instagram. What I love about these instant forms is you can get people to plan a visit to your church without taking them off of Facebook, without taking them off of Instagram to your website. Isn't that awesome? And so because you're keeping users on the platforms longer, you get favor, you get rewarded with it, and your bang for your buck goes way further. Does that make sense? So let's kind of jump into more about these instant form ads for your church. Now, you can go to facebook.com/ads manager. You want to create a new campaign, and you want to select leads as the objective. Then from there, you want to make sure that you are doing the manual ad setup. It gives you more options. Then you can go to the ad set level, and you want to make sure that you have selected instant forms. Now, this is going to allow you to set up the ads where people are taken to a page that's hosted on Facebook, that is the forum on Facebook that doesn't take people off the platform, and get them to plan a visit that way. Now, this is an example of what the instant form looks like. You can see the description, the headline, and you can see if you scroll down, we'll ask some questions like choose your service time. How did you hear about us? If you go to the next screen, you'll see name, email, phone number. What I love about the name, email, and phone number part, Facebook, Instagram, they already have people's names, emails, and phone numbers. And so people don't even have to manually type that in. All they're having to choose is their service time. And then I like to add at least one manual question that they have to type something in, because think about it. If Facebook already enters in their name, email, and phone number, and they're not manually typing in something, they're just kind of clicking through, typically the conversion rate from people that plan a visit to show up on Sunday is a little bit lower. So I like to always add one manual question that they have to answer themselves. And the one that we found that works best is, how did you hear about us? And we kind of know the answer to that already. It's going to be Instagram or Facebook. So let's go ahead and move on. I want to talk to you about whenever you set these ads up, don't just choose one image. Don't just choose one video and like one text. You want to use a lot of different variations. So like I said, I live in Texas, and it might not seem like it, but I'm a little bit of a country boy. I love to go hunting. And here's the thing. If I was going to go duck hunting, I would not bring a rifle. Because with a rifle, you pull the trigger, one bullet comes out. And between you and me, I'm not the best shot. But that's why I love hunting with a shotgun, because you pull the trigger and tons of little BBs come out. And so you have a way higher probability of hitting those ducks that are flying around. And so same thing with your ad strategy for your church. I call it the shotgun strategy. You know, you might have heard a lot of people, they say in their marketing, they do an A/B test where they split test different images or videos. Well, here at Church Candy, what we teach is you should do an ABC Elemento test. Have tons of variations, split testing images, headlines, ad text, placements. So where are the ads being placed? Are they stories? Are they reels? Are they feeds? Whenever you do this, you're going to see what ads are performing the best in your area. And then you can double down on those, and you can look and see after the ads have been running for a little while, okay, these ads aren't working well, but these are. Let's double down on the ads with these types of images. Does that make sense? So once people fill that form out, what I would recommend doing, the easiest way to get that information from that lead form is you can use a website called Zapier.com. And Zapier actually has an automation setting where you can take people, once they fill that form out on Facebook, and send them into Planning Center. You can set up an automatic text to send yourself a reminder with their info. That way you can follow up with them. You can set it to automatically send an email. Zapier is going to be the easiest tool to use to get people from the lead forms over to your follow-up strategy. And now you can use Zapier to send people into Text and Church, MailChimp, really any software out there that you use to follow up with people. At Church Candy, we like Church Funnels because it kind of replaces Zapier. But if you're not using Church Funnels, Zapier is going to be the easiest tool there. Now, a question I get, probably my most asked question, is, Brady, how much should I spend on these ads? Now, let's be honest. That is a very heavy loaded question. And so typically my response is always, okay, how many new guests do you want? So with the strategy, it's not about, okay, what's our budget? It's, okay, what's our budget based on how many new guests we want? And so we actually made this really cool tool. You can check it out at churchcandy.com/calculator. And it's going to ask you a couple questions. The first question is, how many guests do you want? Let's say in 1 month, you would love to get 50 new guests. So you can put 50 in there. And then the estimated amount of people coming with each family that plans a visit, it's going to be about 2.5. Because sometimes it might just be one person that comes. But if it's a family of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's a lot of people. The average is about 2.5 people will come with each family that plans a visit. And then what's the estimated show rate percentage? I typically see you should be getting at least half of the people that plan a visit to show up on Sunday. If you're getting less than a 50% show rate, then that means that you need to follow up with them better. They're planning a visit. They're not accidentally filling that form out. So go ahead. I would put 50 in there for the estimated show rate. And then what's your estimated cost per plan your visit form submission? That's also referred to as cost per lead. That's basically when you take how much money you spend on ads, divided by how many families plan to visit. For example, if you spend $100 on ads and you got 10 families to plan a visit, that would be a $10 cost per lead or cost per plan your visit form submission. On average, we found it range between $10 and $30. Sometimes it's a little bit lower. If it's higher than 30, then you need to be redoing your ads and optimizing them to get a lower cost per lead. So you can just put it right in the middle, say 20 or 15. Now, with all of these stats, to get 50 new guests, if 50% show up, and you're spending $15 every time a family plans a visit, we recommend spending $600 on ads. You spend $600 on ads, with all these stats, you're gonna get 50 new guests show up to your church in that time period. Isn't that awesome? So you can use this calculator to figure out and determine how much your church needs to spend on ads. So, just to recap, secret number one, the best ad type for getting tons of PYVs are gonna be Meta's instant form ads. You can do this on Instagram and on Facebook. It works tremendously. So let's go ahead and move on to secret number two. This is Amazon's ad strategy that works even better for churches. So Amazon does this exact same strategy that I'm about to show you, but it actually works a lot better for churches, and I'll get into that here in a second. So check this out. This is my microphone that I use in my office. If you've ever seen any of my TikToks or YouTube videos, you've seen this microphone. This is the Shure MV7. What I love about it, it's a USB mic, so I can just plug it in right into my computer without any like XLR cables or having to deal with any of that. Now, here's the thing. If you go and look this microphone up on Amazon, I would almost guarantee it, you go to Instagram, you're gonna start seeing ads for that microphone. You go to Facebook, you're gonna start seeing ads for this microphone. And that, you've probably seen things like that before. This is the strategy that Amazon uses to advertise on Instagram and Facebook, and you can do the exact same thing for your church. So that strategy is called retargeting, and you do retargeting ads by building Facebook custom audiences or Meta custom audiences, because you can do it on Facebook or Instagram. So you can actually go to facebook.com/adsmanager/audiences to get started. Now with this, there's a couple of different types of audiences that you're gonna want to build. The first one would be website visitors. So anyone that goes to your website, you can build an audience of them to target them with ads. To do this, I would recommend setting up a Meta pixel on your website. This is how you're able to set up the audience. You have to have the Meta pixel on your website. You can actually get what's called the Meta Pixel Helper. It used to be called the Facebook Pixel Helper before they did all their rebranding. You can actually get that Chrome extension and go and look and see if you already have that set up on your website, because someone might have already set that up before. And if not, you can look up tons of YouTube tutorials on how to set up the Meta Pixel on your website, depending on what platform you use to host your website. You can see right here on the First Impression Conference's website, they have a Meta Pixel. They have pixels. So if you've been seeing tons of ads promoting this conference, now you know why. It might have been because you went to their website. So props to you, Greg Atkinson. You're doing things right there. Now, the next type of audience that I like to build are lead form views. Secret number one was the ad strategy to get tons of people to plan a visit. That's the lead form. So you can actually set it up to where anytime someone views the lead form but doesn't submit it, we can start showing them more and more ads. So if they click on an ad and they open that form up but they don't press submit, now you can start showing them more and more ads on Instagram, on Facebook, inviting them to church. And then another one that's kind of simple is Instagram and Facebook page engagement. Anytime someone engages with your church's Instagram or Facebook page, you can actually retarget them and show them more ads, inviting them to plan a visit to your church's Sunday service. And then my favorite audience for churches, and this is why I think it works better for churches than Amazon, are video views. So you've probably seen the trend of social sermon clips on Instagram, right? These reels and TikToks and Facebook reels of little snippets from a Sunday message on Instagram. First off, you can just post, if you're not doing them, it is very, very simple. Even Instagram has auto-generated captions that you've probably seen before. And with this, you just take a clip from your Sunday message, put it on Instagram. I personally do not think I am the best communicator, the best preacher in the world. I am just some guy. And I'll preach maybe once or twice a year at our church. And last year, I clipped a section from my message. It was like 30, maybe 45, 60 seconds max. Added captions to it. I put it on my Instagram, and little old me got 205,000 organic views. That just goes to show you how much Instagram and Facebook are pushing these types of reels to their audience. So just a quick side note, if you're not taking clips from your Sunday message and putting them on Instagram as reels, you're missing out. You probably have spent thousands of dollars on your church's live streaming equipment just to stream on Facebook or YouTube and just have it sit there. No, take the extra 5 to 20 minutes to clip that and put it on Instagram. That's going to get you so many organic views. But what you can also do is take a portion of your ad budget and actually boost those videos, run them as video views ads to people that live in your city to show them what it's like to experience church on a Sunday at your church. And what I love about this strategy is you're already making tons of content every single week just preaching to your congregation. You can repurpose that in your marketing with this strategy. And so now anytime someone watches a video of you preaching on Sunday, even if they just watch 25% of that clip, now you can show them more ads inviting them to church. And then next week, if you do another sermon clip and you want to promote that, you can show that to them again. So now every time they turn around on Instagram, on Facebook, they're seeing you and they're seeing your church. Not too long ago, I was actually sitting at a Torchy's Taco. I know they have a little demon in their logo, but I swear their tacos are straight from the Lord. So if you haven't been to Torchy's, definitely check it out. But I was sitting at Torchy's with my pastor, and we were just sitting down having lunch, and a guy walks up to our table, and he looks at my pastor in the eye and goes, "Hey, are you Michael? Are you the Vibrant guy? Man, I've been seeing your church every time I turn around on Instagram and on Facebook. Man, you guys are killing it." And I'm sitting there just eating my tacos while this guy comes up to my pastor, starts talking to him, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this guy has no idea that I'm the one that set all that up. And now I'm thinking, okay, I really hope my pastor doesn't think that I paid this guy to come up and say that. But it was just a crazy situation. And then once the guy left, and I don't know if that guy's ever came to our church, but it's cool that he's been following us online and we've made an impact just from what we've been doing there. But once he walked away, my pastor said to me, he's like, "Brady, this is kind of my life now. I feel like every time I go to a grocery store or a restaurant with a family, someone will stop me and say, 'Man, hey, you're the pastor from Vibrant. Man, you guys are killing it. Man, I need to check your church out.'" And so this is a really cool strategy that makes a really, really big impact. Something that I've heard a lot of the guests that come to our church say is, I knew God was calling me to Vibrant because every time I turn around, I see you guys on Instagram. That's something that I've heard a lot of our guests say. And then the churches that I help with this strategy, they have the same thing happen. And so that is such a cool strategy to use because there's a lot of truth in that too, spiritually. Because the Bible talks about how we're called to plant seeds. And this strategy is planting seeds. We're inviting people to church. We're encouraging them with clips from a Sunday message. Not expecting them to necessarily show up the next Sunday, but we're just planting a seed and then waiting for Holy Spirit to draw them into our ministry and say, "Hey, I'm calling you to visit this church." And so this is a really cool strategy that not only is going to get people to show up on Sunday, but make an impact in your community greater than what you can even imagine. So secret number 2, Amazon's ad strategy that works even better for churches is using retargeting. You can retarget people that go to your website, people that click on the plan your visit ads but don't actually plan a visit by submitting a form. You can retarget people that have been engaging with you on Facebook and Instagram. And then you can even retarget people that watch your sermon clips or any videos that you guys put out organically on social media. And one side note on this is I would recommend taking a database of people that are already members of your church, and you can actually upload that as a custom list. If you have their name, email, and phone number, you can upload that as a custom list as an audience on Facebook. I would exclude them from seeing the ads because the thing is, let's be real, their tithes are what's paying for the ads that they're seeing on Instagram and Facebook. So we want to use this as outreach that's reaching people outside of our church walls. And one of the hiccups that we'll run into is because people from your church are watching your sermon clips, people from your church are going to your website, we want to exclude them from the ads inviting them to plan a visit. So that's one thing that you are going to want to consider when using and implementing this strategy. So let's move on to secret number 3, how to actually get people that plan a visit to show up on Sundays. So this is one of the things that I was talking about earlier, is just because they see an ad on Instagram and Facebook doesn't mean that they're actually going to show up that Sunday. See, Barna actually put out a study where the average Christian, the average churchgoers, only goes to church once every 6 weeks. And so you've got to realize that just because they plan a visit doesn't mean they're going to actually show up this Sunday. You want to take this as an opportunity to make an impact on their lives long term, expecting them to show up eventually whenever they're ready. But this strategy that I'm about to cover is going to help you actually fast track that and get them to show up quicker. Now, like I said, no one's going to Instagram, scrolling, hoping to see an ad from you so they can plan a visit. No one's doing that. But whenever they see an ad where you invite them to church, invite them to plan a visit, what they will do is say, hey, that looks pretty neat. I'm going to check that out. They'll click on it. They'll plan a visit. It doesn't mean that they're super, super committed, right? Now, you look at this graph, it kind of shows like hot versus cold. You've got to really consider this with the people that plan a visit. The people that see an ad on Instagram and Facebook, they're going to be on the cold side. No one invited them. They don't know you, the pastor, personally. Compared to maybe if you're the pastor and you invite your next door neighbor to church and they go to your website and they see your plan your visit form and they plan a visit, they're going to be a lot more hotter, right? Because they were personally invited or they even know the pastor. And so the people that plan a visit from these Instagram and Facebook ads, they're going to be a lot colder. But that being said, you can follow up with them well to warm them up. Here's the thing. How do you warm up people that plan a visit? Well, number one is retargeting. If they feel like they already know you, if they feel like every time they turn around on Instagram or Facebook, they're seeing you guys, that's going to be a lot hotter because they're already familiar with you guys once they plan a visit. Compared to people that maybe weren't retargeted, maybe they planned a visit once they saw that first ad, you want to make sure you have a solid follow-up strategy. Now, like I said earlier, how you follow up determines how they show up. And you will make a first impression before Sunday. I know we're at the First Impressions Conference, and you've got to realize that your first impression that you're making on people that visit your church is going to be before Sunday, especially with this strategy if they plan a visit. How you follow up is how they show up. Here's the thing, guys. In 2023, texting is king. A lot of people don't answer their emails. In fact, I saw a study that the average open rate for a promotional email is around 10 to 15%. So that's very, very low compared to the average text message is opened 90% of the time within the first 3 minutes. So texting is king, but here's the thing. You want it to be super personal. Check out this text conversation. Hey, Richa, this is Pastor Paul from Cadence. I saw you plan to visit for our Easter service at Cadence Church. Quick question. How many people are coming with the Jones, the Smith crew? We blocked out their last name. But then you can see they responded, hi, Paul. We will be 4 people. Please let us know if you have an entry fee. Thanks. It's kind of silly. I don't know if maybe they came from like a Scientologist church, why they would think there's an entry fee. But anyways, this is an example of an initial text that you would want to send because it initiates a response. We're asking, it's very personal. It doesn't look automated. And you can see on here, this is an automated text. It gets sent out after a 2-minute delay. As long as it's between 9 a.m. and 8 p.m., this text goes out within 2 minutes. We put a 2-minute delay on there so it doesn't look automated because it's from the pastor. Now, you want to make sure the texts are coming from a real person, not your church. Don't make it look automated. Just like with when you're running your plan your visit ads, you don't necessarily want it to look like an ad because if it looks like an ad on social media, people are going to keep scrolling. Same thing here. If it looks spammy, if it looks like it's just, hey, this is Vibrant Church. Thanks for planning a visit. That has a really low response rate. And then people, by the time Sunday comes around, they probably forgot they even planned a visit. So you want, if you're using automated text, you want it to be very personal and you want to initiate of response. I recommend using a 10-digit local area code phone number when you do this. I know some texting providers, they have the short phone numbers to send text. You don't want to use that because that looks like it's coming from a brand. Use your personal phone number. I know church funnels, you can get a phone number that's local to your area code and basically use it like a work phone at that point. And here's the thing, guys, you don't want to inform, you want to engage in conversation. Now, a couple of questions that I like asking is, what made you want to plan a visit? Or how long have you lived in the blank area? So for us, we're in North Houston. I would say, how long have you lived in the North Houston or the Spring or the Woodlands area? The more engagement you have in a conversation via texts, the higher the show rate is going to be. Now, why is that? It's because people are going to feel connected to you. They're going to feel like they already know you, and it's going to help move the needle to get them more and more warmed up to wanting to show up on Sunday. Now, one of the secret sauces that we've found, and this is why I keep referencing that app Church Funnels, they have a video texting feature. So you can actually send a personalized video to every single person that plans a visit to your Sunday service. Now, if you're not using Church Funnels and you're comfortable just using your personal cell phone for this, anytime someone plans a visit, you can go on there, record them a video, and say, hey, this is Pastor Brady from Vibrant Church. John, you want to make sure you say their name in the video. I saw you plan to visit, man. We are so excited to meet you. We can't wait to see you on Sunday. Feel free when you get here if you want to park up front in one of the designated guest parking spots, or if you wanted to get here early to get your kids checked in for childcare, we'd love to have you do so. We'll see you on Sunday. So a little 20-second video like that is going to absolutely make that new guest's day. Think about it. How many churches actually have their pastor send a personalized video to people that haven't even been to their church yet? This is something that's going to blow that first impression out of the water. You've probably heard stats like, hey, you only have 10 minutes to make a good first impression once someone pulls up on your campus, because that's when they're going to make a decision whether or not they're coming back next week. Well, what if we could make a fantastic first impression before they ever even show up on Sunday? And that's what this is doing. So, secret number 3, how do we actually get people that plan a visit to show up? Well, just like when a new guest comes in person on Sunday, whenever someone plans a visit to your church, you want to be kind. You want to make them feel loved. You want to make them feel important. And that's how you're going to get them to show up on Sunday. Amen? Awesome. So again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to check this session out. My name is Brady. We do help churches implement and manage this for them, manage the strategy as far as Facebook and Instagram ads. And so you could go to our website to check that out if you want. But regardless, I'd love to give you a copy of my free book. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more about our program and you want us to help you get new guests to your church, you can go to churchcandy.com and schedule a demo with our team. Thanks for watching and have a good one.